I'm here today with Tucker Johnson of Tucker Johnson Architects to go walk our project, Two Dog Vista Build. All right, so we've known each other for a few years. It took us a few years to do our first project together. This is our second project, and I still don't know what your process looks like. Like when you meet a client or when you go to a property for the first time, I remember going out here and all we had were trees, maybe some snow, things like that. What's your process? What does it look like to envision this house sitting on this piece of property?
We walked out here, the team did, sat up here. First thing you want to do is orient yourself.
Yep.
North, south, east, west.
Yep.
We looked at areas like Kinney Peak, which is a part of the Cub Creek, development.
Yep.
Obviously, we have views on a nice clear day. Today's a little smoggy, but
yep.
We've got views to Mount Evans, Evergreen, Elk Meadow, and the Valley of Evergreens down up to our north, and then we have
60-degree views.
and we have valleys to the south,
yep.
right? So we're sitting at the top of a hill, but as a firm, we really try and push things down instead of up.
Yep.
And we want to preserve the views, but we don't want this house to be pretentious, if you will.
Yep.
And so we try and bring the house down, but as you walk inside the house, you'll notice that doesn't affect the volume, the scale of the views that we're seeing. So there's a number of things, and we're inspired by the textures and the colors that we see. I mean, if you look at the siding, and I was just noticing how well we did.
Yeah.
The siding,
Bark
the
of
color,
the
furs
stuff.
over here
exactly.
are aligned with what
Yep.
the siding's doing. So we're trying to blend this thing in, and that's something that we really try and do as a firm. Is
Yep.
just not try and be so arrogant about what we're doing.
I like that. When you pull up the driveway here, as you come up, it's actually, you almost don't even see the house. You can't recognize, to what extent or what size the house is. It sits really well on the property, like the last house we did. You come up the driveway and you can't even see the house, and then all of a sudden you crest the driveway and you say, oh, there's a house sitting right there. And I feel like you guys have done an excellent job placing this house, putting it here, fitting the landscape. All right, so you were telling me about the materiality of the siding, of the stone, and how it just coordinates very well with, let's just say, the bark of the tree, all that sort of stuff, the dirt, the soil, the rock. Tell me about the experience, though. You mentioned that. You've told me that. What do you mean by experience? So if a homeowner's watching this, they want to know, hey, Tucker, when you say something about experience, what are you talking about?
Well, you can divide that into a lot of buckets, right? But, in this, one experience that we have that we're walking down right now is you'll notice that, we've sunk in this entry sidewalk down below grade. And you remember us coming out here and trying to define that. And I think from an experiential standpoint, here I am sat down here and this tree's sitting kind of above me.
And I remember this during excavation. We wanted to save this tree because it's a beautiful tree.
It's sort of dipping you down.
Yep.
Into the surrounding environment, if you will, not to be overly dramatic. At the same time, the other experiences that we're talking about here are, the use of the details. Yep. And creating a composition and a palette. And I think that that's something that's really hard to define with an owner. The little things. So you guys have made fun of us and called us that we're using a mascara, right? But, some of those things are, the flashing details, how we're bringing these boards together on these miters, the size of the screw, that we have a screw, we don't have a screw. On these stone walls, we chose to not have a formal cap on the stone walls.
I was going to talk about that.
So this adds a little bit of rusticity, if you will. That's a word that I might have just made up. But yeah, this is a hard detail actually to pull off. And
a lot of times what you'll see is a full cap on the top of this wall.
Correct.
And that would be pitched maybe slightly to help shed some water. But here, you wanted this stone to look like it was wrapped up and around this wall.
We're wanting the coursing of this to feel really tumbled, really, rustic in nature, and that goes with this cap. It's not as refined, if you will, and that helps to sort of celebrate that experience, and as somebody comes in, these subtle moves add up to one big experience that hopefully is very successful.
All right, we were just outside of the entry. This is the entry, but the one thing is we have a lot of protection. We use some old EPDM rubber material to protect all of our doors and windows, and that's why you'll see it's a little dark in here. But someone's experiencing, they're walking in through the entryway, and now we're here in the main entry. We've got wall of glass there, wall of glass here, and then tell me about this experience here that you're walking into.
Well, first of all, kudos to Rangeline for honestly, for putting as much effort and investment into protecting everything that's finished for the owners and for us. It's great. So yeah, we're walking in, entry, scale, grand entry. This is all glass. You can't see it now. So as we enter the home, you get that pretty grand experience, right? But we want to make sure that you're feeling that you're having a transition.
Yep.
Sometimes we can do it with ceilings. Sometimes we can do it with, hallways or stairs. And in this case, our ceilings, same level, right?
Yep.
So we had the volume in the entry actually, and we worked with the grade on this. So we always try and work with the grade. So we're trying to keep the material on site and not have to bring material in.
Because it's expensive to remove material, right?
Yeah, and it's good for the the world that we're not
Yeah.
taking it from one place to the next. So if we can have a neutral cut fill,
Yep.
and so we'll do things like this when the opportunity arises, but it was also a win-win. So we're transitioning from the entry into the living space. You get that whole Frank Lloyd Wright experience where
Sure.
he used to use ceiling transitions, floor transitions, and we do the
That's
same
all
thing.
glass behind you.
All glass.
Covered up.
This door pockets,
Yep.
and that's another experiential standpoint. Is like once we put this into the wall, that door is now gone, and
Yep.
so you feel like you're inside outside,
Yep.
which is all of our houses. We like to work them into the site,
Yeah.
and in doing so, we want to make sure that also you get that connection with the site. So this house, I'm looking actually, if you turn around,
Yeah.
you can see these moss rock boulders through the hallway, and that's pretty awesome. Actually, I hadn't seen that yet, so that's pretty cool right there.
So you were just talking about indoor, outdoor living. Most of the homes that we do have a wall of glass to where you can go indoor, outdoor. He's got cooking over here. We've got dining right here. Tell me about this space. We're looking south, even on a cold December day. Really, this is going to be warm enough to eat outside here in Colorado.
It will, and you know how the climate here, if the
Yeah.
sun's out, you're
Yeah.
going to want to be outside.
We've
for
got
the
a
most
heater,
part.
which
we do
will
have
help.
heaters above, yep. And you're right, the experience out here is going to be epic because they've got the cook area is all, top of line cooking
Yep.
experiences, and then your seating arrangement. And we actually have a tiered patio experience.
So what's your thought about that? It would have been easy to just put one level patio right out here and then just grade off of that, or put a deck, or, it's very simple to do stuff like that. And then we poured this slab, that slab, that slab. What's going in between here? I know what's going in between here, but what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, this is, it's a playful way, but what we're doing is we're looking at a number of different things. We have one experience here, down there, we're getting a little bit further away from the house. You're gonna have a fireplace experience possibly. It's gonna be a total seating experience. This might be a little bit more formal, that's a little bit more relaxed. So we're breaking those opportunities up. We're also, and what I was beating into the dirt here is that we are literally working with the site. Yeah. So this house, you can see we've buried the basement. Yep. So we've got a full basement here, but it opens up. The house cantilevers off, and everything is just kind of stepping, and you'll see the natural grade off in the distance, and it's following us as we're working our way down. And so we're just taking advantage of those opportunities and designing to them. The other thing I guess I could add is that we are
No gutters?
No gutters, right? So we're going to be draining coming off of here, and we're going to create a dry creek bed, and you'll see there's a little notch down there, and we're going to try and have this. We do get some good rain, some good snow melt. We want to know where that water's going. We want to direct it, and so that's also into consideration. How can we design that into, you know, sort of the landscape and the design of the experience?
Yeah, and we've got
space.
2 retention ponds that were required. We've talked about those in previous episodes, and part of that is to take all this water, get those down to those retention ponds, and even this patio up here has a drain, and its outlet is right there, and it's going to all divert all that water around the home into those retention ponds. I love the feel back here.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%. And
I think our excavator even was like, hey, you know, at first I was little, you know, concerned about all these different patios and different heights, but he came to you after grading all this, and what did he say?
Dave came to me and said, hey, I didn't see how this was all going to come together, and now that it is,
Kudos.
yeah, he said it was, you know, it's such a great, you know, great experience. There's that E word again. But, you know, for us, when we get a compliment from all these guys on how these things are turning out, and how they're surprised by, you know, some of these smaller moves and what their impact on them is, that's actually some of the better compliments that we have. I mean, the homeowner, hopefully they're going to be happy as well. But when we get the guys that are building it to sign up and be excited about what we're doing, that really gets us going too.
We are in what is called the Vista Room. We were just talking outside about the experience on the patios, the experience by the entryway. We're in the Vista Room. Let's talk a little bit about form, function, that whole conversation that you and I generally have. I like function. I like how the home is going to perform, how it's going to operate, you know, all that sort of stuff. So what are your thoughts on form over function? I feel like you actually do a really good job as an architect, though, considering function, and at least considering that into your design, whether it's gutters, downspouts, pitches of roof, all that sort of stuff. So not that you don't take it into consideration, but you know, I would say you're more form.
We flirt. No, we definitely, we're always going to lean with form over function. I shouldn't say always, but there's a lot of times where we're caught looking at that. I mean, you can look here, this is the west, right? The south. You know, do we have the glazing oriented perfectly for the performance of the house? We were, in this case, right, you know well, that we were looking for a high performing house.
Yep.
Did we always make decisions that allowed this house to perform the best that it could? No, because we wanted this.
Yes.
You know, and to get this, sometimes you have to sacrifice, and you've got to figure out that return on investment. You know, the owners have to be, you know, invested in that
and the
discussion.
Owners were on board.
We walk through everything,
Totally.
And you know, we don't ever want anything to fail, but at the same time, you know, we will, you know, suggest things that sometimes aren't always in alignment with, you know, the best function, and so in this case, you know,
I mean,
we feel like it was worth
room.
it.
Tell me about this room.
So
we were just talking about it off camera.
Yep.
I mean, imagine a winter's day. I mean, whether it's Christmas Eve or whatever, you got the snow coming down. You're in here. You've got this 2-sided fireplace. I mean,
we really wanted a dramatic moment.
This is
so
dramatic.
As we were looking at this, you know, the team wanted to project this coming off and cantilevering right off the tip of the hill here.
Yep.
And in doing so, we you know, we've got another house that we have in our portfolio that has a similar situation where the form is kind of cantilevering coming off and being balanced underneath by a pier. We kind of took that to another level. I mean, the steel work here to make this happen is and to try and make sure that the deflections and so forth are all in alignment. There's a lot of structure here to make this happen.
That's
but
right.
The experience, see-through fireplace, full glazing. I mean, whether you drink a coffee or whether you drink a bourbon at night, you're really going to sit here and enjoy this.
And I'm sure our triple pane Zola windows are going to help with all the thermal performance and everything about this room.
Yes, these are very high performing windows. They are going to keep as much energy inside the house. You hear and not be manipulated by the energy outside, but it is glass.
And I did a blower door test it was last weekend. I'm not going to say the number yet because that'll be another episode. They are shooting for sub 1 for sure. So
That's
yeah,
pretty awesome.
that's what we're trying to
awesome to hear.
Yeah.
And we were just discussing, I mean, we're sitting up in the trees.
Yep.
Pretty cool experience to be sitting up here. So in one part of the house, we were down almost below grade, if you will, just
Yep.
kind of
And
aligned.
now here we are
And now we're
up in
up
the trees.
here. So
Yep.
now we're up with the birds. Below we were, before we were up down with the chipmunks. So
Yep.
pretty cool.
Very cool. All right, Tucker, I just wanted to say thanks for coming out to the project, to the job site, to this amazing build. We could talk about this project all day, and it would be way too long of an episode. So thanks again.
Well, thanks for having me. We feel very fortunate that we have clients that allow us this opportunity. We're fortunate enough to work with Rangeline. You guys do an amazing job at putting these, putting our plans and our design from paper
To reality.
to reality.
Here it is.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Make sure to keep watching, like, and subscribe.